Today is client scripts. Okay. So we talked about UI policies. What is the advantage of UI policies? Hemant? What you can do using UI policies? Can you explain? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. So
Okay.
with the AI policy, we can apply for the rule for whichever we want, mandatory or
Okay. First thing, they work on load. Okay. They work only on load. Whenever the form load is happening, that they will work. And what you can achieve with UI policies, you can make a field mandatory or optional, right? You can make a field read only or read and write, or you can make a field visible or invisible. These are the key features that you can achieve using UI policy, right? And these UI policies, they do work on client side. Okay,
yes,
right.
wonderful.
Now, and we also talked about data policies. Okay, and data policies, okay, will help you to make a field mandatory read only, or mandatory optional, or read only and read write. Okay, and it work on server side. Okay, this works on server side, right? So did I share my screen?
Not yet.
I shared actually. Okay, so UI policies, they work on load. Okay, typically on client side, and data policies, they work on server side, but they'll be able to make a field mandatory and read only and read out. Okay, this is what you can achieve. Okay, so my client asked me a new requirement. Okay, my client have asked me. Okay, so let us say, let me open my incident screen and derive a real-time requirement. Okay, I've been part of a workshop. Okay, if okay, if my client is creating a ticket, okay, if the client is creating a ticket, okay, so here we have various options, right? We have state, new, in progress, on hold, resolved, closed, and cancelled. These are some of the options that I have. Okay, so my client said, okay, when you're opening, or else, for example, let us say I have a caller, a VIP caller. Okay, I have a VIP caller. So if caller is VIP, okay, what need to be done is, like, you need to prioritize something. Okay, if the caller is selected as a VIP, based on the caller preference, you need to make sure you have to make your field is, priority should be always high. You want to say that, you want to give an error. Or for example, let us say what, the way we are currently moving through the incident life cycle is, let's say I'm running an incident life cycle testing, incident life cycle. Okay, and I'm testing it. So what my requester is doing, so he was trying to directly move, or the agent is directly moving from new to resolved directly. Okay, they are directly changing the status to resolved. Okay, this is how they are progressing. Okay, which I don't want to allow. Okay, so the other requirement is the client is directly jumping from new to resolved, which you don't want to allow. There are various ways to achieve this requirement. Like, I will talk about one scenario now. Okay, now we want to make sure if the status is in new, okay, if the status is new, I do not want to allow the other options. I want to allow only in progress. If the status is new, I want to allow only in progress. I do not want to allow other statuses. If the status is in progress, I want to allow only on hold and resolved or cancelled. I cannot move back to new. Okay, so these are various ways of customer requirement might come up in your workshop. Okay, now this is the requirement. With whatever we learned so far, can we achieve this using UI policies? UI policies will help you to make field mandatory, read-only, visible. It will not help you to make any changes to the content within the field. Okay. And maybe you wanted to load it on hold. Okay. So depends on these scenarios. Okay. Depends on these scenarios, you can pick up the client scripts. Okay. Again, client scripts also will act as like a UI policies if the requirement is so small. Okay, let us say you also can use a client script to make field read only, read write, and all that options because they are all available in your G underscore form API. Okay, so let me talk about client script. Okay, let me open up a client script. Okay, so client scripts are also the scripts which will be worked on your front end to manage your user experience. Okay, so client scripts are just like UI policies. They do also work on the client side. Okay, now in the client script you have four type of client scripts. Okay, the types of client scripts are four. Okay, which will help you to execute these client scripts according to your requirement. Now let us say I want to run a client script on an incident table. The system is still loading. Okay. Okay. So there are four client scripts are available. So on SellEdit, okay, you can execute a client script when you are making a change to cell. Okay. For example, let us say this is your list view. Okay. Now you are on the list view and you are making a change. Okay. You are changing directly from state new to in progress. At this point in time, you want to run a script. This is where you will use on SellEdit client script. And at this point in time, your UI policies will not work. Okay. And if there is any requirement from the client, whenever we are making a change at cell level, then I want a script to be executed. Then this is the feature that will help you to do that. Okay. On SellEdit. Similarly, we have on change. Okay, on change, which means whenever I'm changing, category is equal to antivirus. Okay, or category is equal to email. Whenever I'm making a change to the category, or for example, whenever I'm making a change to caller. Okay, let us say caller. I'm changing it to Abel Tutor to some other person. Okay, Delmer. So whenever I'm changing a field value on change of this particular scenario, you want to make sure like something else is working. Okay, maybe you want to make a particular scenario should be executed only for a particular person. Okay, on change you want to make sure like some other action to be executed. Okay, this is the place where you will be using on change client script. Okay, and on load, and on load we already talked about it whenever we are loading a form. Okay, so this is exactly work as a UI policy, but here you will be writing a completely script. There is no selective options as such. And the next one is on submit. Whenever you are making a change, okay, change to the form, and then you are trying to submit your your sub request at the time of save or submit, which means before you are submitting the record into the database, you want to write a action or you want to execute a script. And this is where you will be using on submit client script. Okay, these are the four types of client scripts which we can use. Okay, depends on the requirement. Okay, remember this. This is one of the key interview question you may ask, like what are the different types of client scripts we have. Okay, so on SellEdit, on change, on load, and on submit. Okay, now my requirement here is I want to show only new in progress when the state is equal to new. That is my requirement. Okay, to achieve this, I want to use client script. Okay, so now let me first draft the functional requirement. Okay, end user or agent should not be directly moving or skipping the status from new to resolved. Okay. To achieve this, please ensure agent can see only in progress if the incident current status is new. This is my requirement. Okay, now I'll have to change this client requirement into my technical requirement. Okay, now again, as I always say that, like, where do we want to execute this change? When do we want to execute this change? And what is it we wanted to achieve? So now answer these questions. Where do we want to achieve this requirement? Where is that? Like, I want to achieve this requirement.
An incident table.
On incident
state.
table. Yeah, on incident table. When do I want to achieve?
Whenever they are making a change in state in
If
new
the
to
status
improve.
is equal to new. And what do I want to achieve? I want to exclude other status options. Okay, only leave in progress to select. Okay, in progress to select. This is my requirement. Okay, now this is my technical requirement. To achieve this, so far we learned about UI policies and data policies, which are useless, right? So the best option to achieve this requirement is client script. Okay, now I am in the client script. This is my client script. So as we talked about, where do we want to achieve this requirement? On the incident table. And I want to name this particular client script. Remove status options, or you can say that, okay, maintain status control. Okay, this is your requirement. Now I want to achieve this requirement on my incident table. Okay, and I want to achieve this requirement at the time of onload. If I'm saying on change, I need to say on which field I wanted to make this script is executing. My current requirement is onload. As soon as I said, like, depends on my selection type of client script, the respective functions will be auto populated. Okay, respective functions will be auto populated. So for my case, this is onload I want to use. Okay, so then onload function will be auto populated. And here I have to write a script. Okay, first let me, build a logic. Okay, to make sure my status need to be removed, other statuses to be removed. First thing I need to, because the system doesn't know on which status you are in, because you are writing a script. So to achieve that, like, first I'm writing my whole logic into steps. Okay, step one. Step one. Okay, understand the current status. Step two, validate the current status. And step three, okay, execute the required action. So these are, I simply created a flow chart here. So these are my comments for my learning, like, for my awareness, I have maintained it. So to achieve the first step, okay, I need to know what is the value currently located on my current table. Okay, what is the value that is currently located on my current table? That is my first, step to achieve. To understand the current value, I'm declaring a variable, a short variable, current status is equal to, I will use my glide API. So there is a API predefined, get the value. Okay, get the value of a field that you wanted to understand. Now I want to know the value which is residing on this particular field. So I'm using this particular predefined API. This API will get the value from that particular field. Okay, put it in single quotes. Okay, so what this particular action does is, so understand the current status. So to achieve that, I just received the value into this variable. Now my current form value is status value is located in this. Now I need to know whether this is correctly working or not. To achieve that, let's simply put an alert. Okay, and then see what value is coming into it. Okay, now test it. Okay, I'm saving it. Now test it. Save it. Okay, reload it. My client script should work. No, it did not work. There is some reason. Okay. Current status is equal to this one. Alert. Okay, I'm just extending it. It is on the incident table. Okay, let me just test it once again. Reload. Why it is not working? Let me just check. Configure. The one I just created should come here. Okay, this is active. On load. There's nothing. A simple script. Why it is not working? I need to check. Wait, give me a second. Simple one. I'm writing. Just just to make sure why this is not applied. I hope I'm on the same instance 85894. 85894. Yeah, this is coming. It is not applied. Okay. Let me just pass on my script here. I just pasted the whole script that I wrote.
So you have missed that alert spelling. So ALERT.
Yeah, something maybe. Yeah, right. Spell mistake. Now let's see. Yeah, you can see the current status of the incident is 2. Okay, as we know, every time the value, the label we probably looking into it, but in the background there are other values are associated with your table. Okay, so you will be seeing only the labels all the time, but whenever you are writing a script, you should be always bounded by your backend values. So for in progress, the value is 2. For on hold, value is 3. For resolved, 6. Okay, and closed, 7, and cancelled, 8. Now my requirement here is, okay, my requirement here is, if the status is equal to new, I should be seeing only 2. Okay, if the status is equal to new, okay, if the status is equal to 1, I should be seeing only 2. The other values should be excluded. 3, 6, 7, 8 should be excluded. They should not be visible. Okay, now how do you do that? Okay, so first thing, you have verified some value is coming up. My next requirement is if the current status is equal to 1, what I want to do is I want to move off all the other statuses. What I want to do to achieve that G underscore form, again, you will use your glide system and remove option. You can see there is an option called remove option. You want to remove an option from which status and from this status. Okay. From the status, you want to remove option. What option you want to remove? You do not want to display 3, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. You do not want to display 3, 6, and 7, 8. Okay. 3 you do not want to see. Okay. Similarly, you do not want to see 6. And you do not want to see 7 and 8 as well. So 7 you do not want, and then 8 also you do not want. So what I have done is I'm checking the status, and if my status is equal to 1, I'm trying to remove those options from my status. Okay, save this request. Okay, now check here. Open any status which is in 9005 is in my new status. What system is now doing? It is checking for status is equal to 1, and then check for other values. You can see only new and other values are removed. Can you see this? So now this is how you will be using the client script. So this client script is okay. This client script is onload client script. Using this, now we talked about one requirement wherein, like, we have removed the options according to the customer requirement. Now you are in progress. Okay. Maybe now the customer says if the status is equal to in progress, then we should be, we should be allowing only next step is on hold or resolve. Okay, or only on hold or resolve should be available if the status is equal to in progress. The earlier script didn't work because now the status is equal to 2. So the condition is failed. So the script did not work. Now you want to extend the script, you can do as you wish. Else if, okay, if the status is equal to 2, okay, if the status is equal to 2, you want to execute something else. Okay, now you want to extend the script the way you want it. You don't, if the status is equal to new, you don't want to display 1. Okay, fine. You also don't want to display the other values. You can say that, like, whatever the way you want to do, you can just do that. I want to make sure, like, resolved is also available. If the status is equal to 2, I want to make sure, like, resolved is also available. So let's test it. Now reload the script. I have reloaded. Now it is in progress. No, I have not properly set the condition. I want to make it for 2. I change the status is equal to 2 for the second condition. Now the in progress. See, you can go to on hold and resolve. You cannot go out to any other value. Similarly, if the status is equal to resolved and you wanted to display only the closed values, you can, or else in progress value, whatever. Now you know how to script. So this is how you will be using the onload client scripts. Okay, onload client script. Okay, now you understood what is a client script. How do we use it? Heman? Heman, is that clear?
Yes. So
okay, we will do one more exercise. Rani, any questions on this?
No, sir, it is clear.
Okay, it is clear. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so let me pick up another scenario here. Okay, now
Sure, sir.
this, yeah, status is resolved. Okay, so the client says if the status is resolved, okay, if the status is resolved, now you are seeing all the values. Right, Aman?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is the value of status? Status result. The value is 6,
6.
right? So, do we have any condition in our client script? For a 6, I want to achieve something. Is there any condition for value 6? Am I checking something like this?
No.
I'm getting the only value of a state into my variable. My variable right now is picking up 6 here, but for 6, I do not have maintained any logic here. Now go and check, maintain the logic. Now else, if current status current status is equal to 6. Okay. Now I'm checking for result. What I want to make sure, I don't want to show anything else apart from in progress and closed. Okay. I don't want to show anything else apart from in progress and closed. Okay. 1 is a new, I don't want to display. 2 is equal to in progress. I want to display that. Okay. Now, because this is a result, this is fine. I don't want to display cancel. I will be removing this. 8 is a cancel. 7 is a sorry, 8 is a cancelled. I want to remove it. Okay. And 8 is equal to sorry, 7 is equal to close. I want to make sure like that is available. So now I have removed it. Whatever I want to keep, I kept it. Whatever I want to remove, I have removed it. Okay. So now test it. Go here. Reload it. Now the status is equal to resolved so that my condition will be executed. Okay. My condition says to keep some value and remove some values. So now you can see only in progress is available. On hold also I don't want to display. If I don't want to display on hold, I can simply add on hold. What is the value for on hold? It is 3, right? On hold, I don't want to display here. Okay. Example. I have included to remove on hold also. Now let's test it. Status is equal to 6. My script will fire. Now, wise has gone. 3 equal to on hold. 6. Just have the current status is equal to resolved. And if I'm saying OK, in progress is also removed. Okay, resolved is also removed. There is some bug. What is the value for resolved? It is for 6, right? Check if 6 have not commented. Now test it. Just you need to maintain that logic in your script. That's it. Okay, now reload it. Okay, clear. Now on hold is also removed. Now is that clear, Hemant?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how you will use the client script. So the client script, like now we have tested on load. Okay, the entire scenario we have tested on load. Tomorrow your client, your requirement could be something. Okay, let us say you have short description. You have modified this short description to something else. Okay, now when you have modified it and you will be moving your cursor to the next stage. So at that point in time, you want to execute some client script. So then it will be on change. Okay, so let us say whenever I am entering into short description, okay, without adding any value in the short description, I'm coming out of it. Okay, you have entered into short description, but you are coming out of short description without entering any value. Or maybe I want to add the same logic for description. Okay, in this case, for a description, there is no value. But I have typed into the description, but I'm coming out without adding any value into description. Let us say I want to come out of this field without adding any value out of this one. So you may want to give a warning message to a customer. or you may want to give an information by mistake or by intention. You have jumped into a field, but coming out of it without entering in a value. Maybe you want to give a small warning. Let's see how do you do that. Okay. Now in this scenario, you will use on change client script, right? So let's say again, go to the client script. Go to the client script. Go to client script. And then create a client script. Warning message. Okay. Description. Warning. Okay. Now I want to do this on the incident table. I selected an incident table. Now apply it for everybody. And this time I want to give only if somebody is entering into this description field. What is that field? I have to select a description field. Now, what I want to give a small warning message if somebody is coming out of without any entering value. Okay, why? So to make sure like whether there is a value or not. So first thing I need to get the description value. Okay, description is equal to G underscore form get value of that particular description. Okay, this is the field name, but anyway, let me cross check. Okay, prefer to copy paste instead of doing mistakes just like we did a minute back. Let me copy and paste it. Okay, now I'm having the value of description in this particular one. Now I want to give a message. Okay, if the description is equal to null, give a message. Okay, saying that alert you're coming out of this field without entering any value. Okay, this I want to execute only at the time of on change. Okay, on change. So now save this request and go to 905 and reload it. Okay, you are here now. That's the previous message. Now I'm entering into description and I'm coming here. Okay. Right, it should work. Let's do it for other field. There is an audit option enabled on this one. Let's say requester. Requester. Caller ID field name should be something like this. So we'll pick up another example on top of it. So let's copy caller ID. Okay. So first of all, now reload. Get the previous message and I'm changing without entering it. I'm coming out. Let me change slightly the scenario. Okay. So let's say if I'm entering test one user, I want to give a message. Copy sys ID. Just I'll change the requirement slightly. Caller. Okay. Let's say I want. You have selected a VIP. please make sure you are prioritizing the request. Okay, so I'm saying that, like, if the test one user is selected, I want to request someone to prioritize the request. Okay, so this is my requirement. Reload it. Now it is with the David Miller. Okay, I will select test one user. Now you can see once the value is changed, I'm saying, like, you have selected a VIP. Please make sure you are prioritizing the request. Okay, so this is what I'm actually saying. When I'm executing this request, typically when I'm changing a value in the field, not at the time of load. Whenever I'm changing the value, so at that point in time, I want to say some error message, or maybe I want to say if the caller is selected. Okay, if the caller is selected, maybe for VIP tickets, you may want to auto assign assignment group to a separate queue. Okay, maybe you want to assign this to service desk queue for a quick attention. Maybe this is the queue name that you want to attach. So now this is being a reference field. Always, if you are working with reference field, we will work with sysids. Now the sysid of the group ID is, okay, copy the sysid and go to your your script here. So if the caller is equal to test one user, then you set the value to source of it. G_form set value of a assignment group. Assignment. I will copy it preferably, and value should be this one. Okay, what is the name for this assignment group? Copy it. Safe side to avoid the spell mistakes. I'm copy pasting the value here. Now you go to this particular one, save it, and I'll write it. Hence, I am assigning this to service desk queue for their quick attention. So this is what I'm trying to achieve. So let's save it. Now go back, reload and test your script. Go back and reload. Test one user. Now I'm saying this, I'm giving the message, and then the next one is immediately it is reassigned to someone. So these things you cannot achieve with UI policies, right? So now in this case, I want to execute only if the caller is changed to this particular person. Okay, only if the caller is changed to this particular person, immediately I am reassigning this to someone. Okay, so the client scripts will help you to execute this script, the desired script, on various scenarios, on load, on change, again similarly on the cell edit, or at the same time on submit. Maybe on submit, the client says, okay, you are trying to save the request without adding some values, or at the time of submit, you wanted to give some errors. You don't want to allow submission without a proper data included on the screen. So these are various scenarios wherein you will be making sure you will be applying the validations on the screen, and then you will be aligning your client requirements and client policies attached to your form view. Okay, all these requirements are client side requirements. Apart from UI policy, now we have client script also to automate certain functions. So UI policies works only on load, but whereas client scripts will work on load, on change, on cell edit, also on submit. Okay, at the time of submission. Rani, is that clear? Any questions?
No, sir.
It's clear, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Heman, any questions?
No.
Okay.
Clear.
So can you do quick practice? And if you are good, then we will be good with this topic. Okay, let's do this on change client script.